Welcome back, everybody, to the KC Sports Report. I'm your host, Michael Darcy, and today I'm going to break down the latest in the Rashee Rice injury case. We may have just received some big news regarding his health status going forward. So, ladies and gentlemen of the Chiefs Kingdom, there's been some interesting developments in the Rashee Rice injury, and I think that there's growing optimism that he doesn't miss the season with a torn ACL. But I just want to say that the sources that we are going to be talking about in this video haven't necessarily been vetted, but going off of their previous success, the person that we're going to be talking about has an inside source on the team, and so far, he's been correct about Rashee Rice, everything that's happened so far. So I think that while this isn't 100% fact, I think you have to take what he's saying semi-seriously, but at the same time, do take it with a grain of salt. So Denny Crew on Twitter at Top Notch Shot said your 10-3 Rashee Rice injury update is that the source's optimism of a short-term injury continues to grow. What we do know is that the ACL is intact and Rashee will play this season. Hyperextension caused other ligament damage, minor and bone bruise. 5 weeks recovery, no surgery needed. So I saw that on Twitter and I was like, oh my gosh, I don't know the validity of this, but the fact that we went from thinking Rashee Rice was going to be out for the entire season to this could potentially be an injury that only sidelines him for a month. And the Chiefs put him on IR yesterday, but IR is only 4 weeks. So hypothetically speaking, he could come back week 9. And so it's very interesting to see how the Chiefs are handling this injury situation, because if this was something that was super serious, like a torn ACL, you would have known by now. Something is going on, something weird is happening, because we're not going to find out the full extent of Rashee Rice's injury till this next Monday. So it has been over a week, and it's going to be more time until we find out. And so the Chiefs must think that something is looking good in terms of the MRI, because if they were just like, okay, yeah, he tore his ACL, they wouldn't be messing around. I mean, there would be massive implications to not reporting on his injury status. So it seems like that second opinion that he got might really benefit this Chiefs team. And I want to pull up this tweet from Jesse Morse on Twitter. Jesse Morse is Dr. Jesse Morse. He's somebody that will look at injuries and give his thoughts as a doctor. Now, I will say, he's not in the, MRI room. He's not in the, facility examining Rice, but he's got a pretty good track record of predicting, injuries and timelines for how long these players are going to be out. And he actually quote tweeted that same tweet that I just read by Denny Crew and said, this hypothetical diagnosis would fit the Rashee Rice's injury, the lack of clarity, and the fact that he was put on IR today. If this was an ACL or severe MCL, LCL, PCL, then his season would be over. They wouldn't have put him on short-term IR. A sprain to the MCL plus PCL or bone bruise would roughly take 5 weeks to return if they were mild sprains. If they were moderate, grade 2, like think Puka Nacua, then he's not returning in 5 weeks. Maybe eventually we'll hear that exact diagnosis. So it seems like the doctor, in a weird way, is corroborating the tweet from Top Notch Shot, Denny Crew. So I think that this whole Rashee Rice injury has just been such a big question mark. Nobody knows what to believe. But now there's, growing optimism from me that he's going to be back at some point this season. And I think the biggest thing, not trying to, predict his injury, but the most telling sign that I think he could be back this season is going back to that tweet. I said it earlier. What is the point of putting Rashee Rice on short-term IR if he has torn his ACL? It makes no sense. That makes absolutely ridiculous, just no sense for the Chiefs to do that. And so they must think that, okay, this is something that, he can come back from. It's going to take him some time, but so is it going to take time for Isaiah Pacheco to come back. So maybe there's a better chance that he comes back this season, which is so big for this Chiefs offense. But I do think that the longer we go without hearing, that he tore his ACL or that his season is over, that's good news. I said it with Josh Fan the other day in an episode where we were talking about his injury. At this point, no news is good news. And the Chiefs are having a lot of good news come from this situation, and they might have avoided a huge loss. Because listen, Rashee Rice was the spoon that stirred this offense's drink. And without him, you were going to be in a lot of trouble. And we're still going to probably have to trade for a wide receiver. But I think the belief that, your offense could not function without Rashee Rice, we're not going to have to look big picture long term if he's able to come back this season. Now, I know that there was just an article that got released by Mike Florio where he was basically saying that the Chiefs were trying to not report his injury so that, the NFL would take a suspension for Rice. And I think that is ridiculous. I think Mike Florio has missed the mark so many times in his career, so why are we talking about it now? But I do think that best case scenario, like I just read, Rashee Rice could come back in 5 weeks. Now, I don't think they will rush him back, but we went from thinking he was gone for the year to, he'll be back before week 15. And that is a big thing for this offense. And I think that going forward, it's going to be super, super important that, this offense gets Rashee Rice back. So again, I wanted to read this tweet off, just for anyone that might have missed it. Denny Crew on Twitter @TopNotchShot said that sources' optimism of short-term injury continues to grow. The ACL is intact and Rashee will play this season. Hyperextension caused other ligament damage and a minor bone bruise. So again, we can't take that tweet as gospel, but I feel pretty confident that he's telling the truth because he's been right about, Rashee Rice's injury status for the past couple days. And so definitely keep an eye on this Rashee Rice injury situation. I'm going to be monitoring it very closely, but I will say that it seems like the Chiefs might have dodged a giant bullet and they'll get Rashee Rice back at some point this season, which, thank God. But really quickly, I want to give a shout out to the sponsor of this video. That is the Hollywood Casino at Kansas Speedway. The Hollywood Casino is doing a watch party on 10/27 at the casino for the Raiders and Chiefs game. Should be a really fun game. I'll be out there doing a live stream, and I would love to see you guys out there. And if you want to have a chance to win $5,000 in Penn Cash, show up to the casino and find out how to enter to win $5,000 of free money. The link to that is in the description. I would love to see all of you out there at the casino as we watch this Chiefs team beat down the Las Vegas Raiders. Until next time, guys, thank you for watching this video. Go check me out on Instagram and TikTok, KC_Sports Report, and Twitter @KC Sports Report. Until next time, guys, thank you for watching this video, and go Chiefs.